was trying, and I just could not follow him. I don't even try.
I want to switch on because it's probably all late now. It's probably too late now.
I do like my green. It's
cute. It's really cute.
Is that for your competition?
No. We didn't win, so she won.
Oh. That's very so
You're stupid.
We got fourth.
They
We
got.
don't even compete against you. High school's way different.
They're, yeah.
We have like 10 teams to go against. You guys have like.
We well
Our finals, we
all
have like 20.
all together, we had. Didn't we have like 16? No, like not even before finals.
No, didn't everybody make it to finals? Yeah, because it's all stars.
Someone told me there were like 16 teams.
High school.
Oh, for high school.
Yeah.
Okay, so next time.
I don't know. Next time, I don't know.
Can I show you the routine after class?
Okay. Hello everyone.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so do you have any question before I start? Any question? No question. Okay, so today I'm going to start chapter 3 and in chapter 3 we are going to use our knowledge from chapter 2 when we were solving equations, when we had variables, when we had some constant. So in this chapter we are going to talk about a linear relation, and in this linear relation we will have x and y as variables, and then we want to find the relation between x and y using graph or using different method. Okay, so the first I don't know how many of you had this already, but I know some of the students had this kind of concept in their high school. Okay, so the first step to show the relation is using this kind of graph. So this is XY plane. We have x-axis, we have y-axis, and we can show different points on this graph. So these points have two coordinates. One is x coordinate, another is y coordinate. So there will be a parenthesis like this. We call that order pairs. So the first term here will represent x value. The second term here will represent y value. The first term you have here will be a number, and you should find this number on x-axis. The second one will be a number, and you should find this on y-axis. And then this is a point. This point is kind of intersection between the value you find on x-axis and value you find on y-axis. Okay, so this xy plane has 4 quadrants, 4 separated parts. So the first quadrant, second quadrant, third, and the fourth one. In first quadrant, as you know, this is the origin, this is 0. This is a real number line. This is also a real number line. So this side is all a negative number. On this side, we have all the positive number. On this side, for y-axis, we have all negative number. On this side, we have all positive number. First quadrant says whatever point is in this quadrant will have a positive x and will have a positive y value. So if we have an order pair like this number will be positive, this number also will be positive. So if you have positive number, you know this number belongs to, this order pair belongs to the first quadrant. Second quadrant, all the value for x will be negative and all value for y will be positive. So the order pair you have, if here you have a negative number and here you have positive number, you will have that point in the second quadrant. Okay? Then the third quadrant, both x and y are negative. If you have an order pair with x and y negative, that belongs to the third quadrant. Fourth quadrant, as you see, y has negative value, x has positive value. Probably most of you know these already. Okay, so we use this graph, we use this xy plane to explain some relationship. And now, in this chapter, we want to draw a linear relationship. Linear relationship is something like this. Something like this. All are lines. So, the graph we are showing will be a line in xy plane. And as soon as you see a line, you know that there's a linear relationship and power of x and y is just 1. Something like x plus y equal some numbers. So as you see, power of x is 1, power of y is 1. So as long as you have power 1 for your variable, the relation is linear. And you will, as a graph, you will have a linear graph in your xy plane. So now, how we can draw a kind of graph, how we can, draw this kind of graph in xy plane. So, to be able to draw a relation or draw a graph, linear relation, in xy plane, we need some order pair. So, we will have xy plane like this. When you see arrow here, means this axis is continuing to what? Infinity, exactly. So if I have arrow this side means going to negative infinity, correct? And then here also continuing, here also continuing. Okay, so now what graph we are going to show? Y equal x minus 1. So let's see how we can draw this graph. Y equal x minus 1. Okay, so first step, we need some order pair. So I'm going to use this table. The first column I will show x value. Second column I'm going to show y value. So for any x, I will have a value for y, correct? For any y also, I will have a value for x. How? Just choose, for example, 2 for x. Replace it here in this formula. Y is equal to 2 minus 1 equal 1. So for x equal 2, your y is equal 1. And now you have an order pair. Your order pair is 2 and 1. Correct? So the next number, let's choose negative x. Let's choose negative 3 for x, and then I'm going to find y. I could start with y, give any number to y, and then find x for that, okay? I could do that too. So instead of x, I put negative 3 minus 1 equal negative 4. I have negative 3, negative 4, the second order pairs. To draw a linear graph, we need at least 2 order pairs, at least 2 of them. Sometimes your choice will be 2 close points together. And in that case, it's so difficult to draw a line passing through those points. you know, in that case, yeah, you should continue to get more ordered pair. But sometimes your choice is good, your points are far from each other, you can pass a line through these 2 points, and that would be really good. So, as you know now, I'm going to find this point, and pass a line through these 2 points. The first is 2, 1, means your x is 2 units, positive 2 on this side, right? 1, 2. Your y is 1, which is positive. You have positive 1 on y-axis. So, I'm going to draw an imaginary line parallel to y-axis, another imaginary line parallel to x-axis. The intersect between these two is this point. And this is 2, 1, point 2, 1, order pair 2, 1. Correct? Other point is -3, -4. So this point is in the first quadrant, correct? So can you tell me where is the next point? -3 and -4. Which quadrant? 3. Because in quadrant 3, both x and y is negative. So if I have order pair like negative number, we know it's in the third quadrant. So I'm going to be here. So it says -3 on x. 1, 2, 3. This is -3, correct? And -4 on y-axis. So we know this is going to the negative side. So we'll have, these are so close together. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is -4, okay? Draw an imaginary line parallel to x-axis. Draw an imaginary line parallel to y-axis. This is the point -3 and -4. Yes.
When like solving problems like this, like graphing and stuff, do you come up with your own numbers to like?
So sometimes they will provide you with x or y, and you should find out a number. Sometimes you're just choosing on your own, both of them. I mean, all of order pair. Depends, you know, and sometimes it's like trial. Like you have to try to see if your number, your order pair is good to draw a graph. Why I say good? Because sometimes the number is like decimal. When you put any number for x, your y become a decimal number, like 1/2, and it would be difficult to find 1/2. 1/2 is easy, but I'm talking about more complicated decimal, okay? So you have to choose another number because you need more convenient points, okay, to be able to draw a graph. So depends. So now I have 2 points. I was talking about linear relationship, correct? We will have a line. This line is going to pass through these 2 points. So, probably I will not be that perfect, but there will be a line like this passing through these points. And this will be the graph for y equal x minus 1. So now, I will have an arrow here. I will have another arrow here. What this means? Means this line is continuing. It's going to whatever, infinity, some other order pairs. So what this graph exactly saying? This is a relation between x and y, correct? There are thousands of points on this. We just detect 2 of them, correct? Any of this point, like let's say if I choose any point here, this point will have x and y, correct? If we put this x in here, we will have the same y as the outcome. So any point on this line should work with this line. Do you understand that? So there will be thousands of points all on this line. We just detect 2 of them. Okay, do you have any question? This is the way we just draw a linear graph. And yes.
So, you know, when we do a problem like this, how would they give it to you? Would they just give you like random numbers to like input and graph and stuff?
Let me, I forgot something. Name of this table and then table of value. Table of value. I think we call this, yes, table of value. So in Pearson, probably you will see kind of table of values, and it will ask you to fill this, like for x, for this x, what is the value of y? For this value of y, what is the value of x? Correct? And in Pearson, it's like that. And then in exam also, I have question like that. I will give you a xy plane, and then I will give you table of values. Some parts are empty, and then I will say find, for example, this order pair. When x is this, when y is this, so you will find order pair. And graphing in Pearson is kind of tricky. You have to try it to understand how it works exactly. And I know there are some questions. You should come up with your own order pair, like choose any x and find y for that specific x, and at least choose 2 points, you know. And yeah, any other question? How many of you already saw this and know how to draw a graph? Good. Okay, let's go for me. So now, what is the order pair for origin? Do you know that?
0, 0,
0, 0. X is 0. Y is also
0.
0. Correct. So remember this order pair A and B. At some part of this chapter, we will use A as a constant or value for X. We use B as a constant or value for Y. Okay, remember this? We are going to talk about this later. Okay, so let's draw this graph too, and we will be done with drawing graph. Okay. So it says we have y equal -3x plus 2. Definitely this is a linear relation between x and y. Why? Why this is a linear relation? You know that?
Because it has the formula y equals mx plus 3.
Not just that.
Because it has a slope, constant slope.
Constant slope. So between this one and this one,
It has
which one is linear?
the
Second.
Why?
Because you can't have an exponent.
yeah.
Correct? So as when you have exponent 1 for x and y, means your relation is linear. But when we have x squared like that, our graph will be a curve. So this is the difference. Do you understand now?
How do you get rid of the exponents?
You don't want to get rid of that.
You just don't.
No.
It just
If you
won't
want to draw a graph, you have to draw a graph for whatever relation you have, you know. But in this class, we are not going to draw a curve or, you know, higher order relation. Okay, so let's see. We have y equal -3x plus 2. This is table of value, as I said. So we are going to find order pairs, correct? So let's choose some other numbers. I want to have different number order pair than this. Okay. So let's see what happens if our y is 0. Okay. I want to find the x for y equals 0. Okay. So y is equal 0. I will put 0 here. Negative 3x plus 2. So what should you do to solve x?
Add 2.
Add,
Or just subtract.
subtract 2 from both sides. You will have negative 2 equal negative 3x, right?
Yeah.
And then next step,
Divide by negative 3.
you will have negative 2 divided by negative 3. So this is the reason I said you have to try to see if the point you are finding is good or not. So 2 over 3, okay. First of all, it will be positive 2 over 3, correct? So I should find an approximate place for this kind of fraction. 2 over 3 is,
Wait, why wouldn't it be negative 2 over 3?
because you have negative 2 divided by negative 3, right?
Which is a positive.
Okay, so 2 divided by 3 is 0 something, 0 point something, correct? So 0 point something is between 0 and 1.
It's
Am I right?
666.
So it's between 0 and 1, right?
Yes.
So let's see. So we have, let me, 1, 2, 3 here. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3 here. And then negative 1, negative 2, negative 3 here. 1, 2, 3 here. Okay, so it says y is equal 0. Okay? Means y is here, right? Because this is y equals 0. Am I right? And then we found y, and we should find x. X is equal to positive 2 over 3, which is between 0 and 1. Approximately, let's say
0.6.
it is here, right? So y doesn't change, it doesn't move. Same spot we found x. So this is the point 2 over 3 and 0, correct? So if you look at the point, y value for this point is 0, right? X value is somewhere between 0 and 1, 2 over 3. So this is one of our order pair. Another one. So what? Now let's say what happens if x is 0? Huh?
You're going to distribute 0 into x.
We are going to replace x by 0, right? So, if x is equal to 0, y is equal to negative 3 multiplied 0 plus 2. So y is equal to 2. This was much easier to find, correct? It's not fraction, it's not decimal. So we have our second order pair, which is 0 and 2. Means x is 0 is still here, right? And y is equal to? So we should move
Up.
2 units up, right? So here is y equal to. So for y equal to, for this point, obviously x is 0. So this one is 0 and 2. Am I right? We have 2 points. Now we should pass a line through these 2 points, right?
So is it a negative line?
You don't call this negative line. Slope is negative.
So
Yes. You don't call this negative line.
because it goes down.
It's a negative slope. It has a negative slope. Right? So what should I add there?
Arrows.
Arrows, because this line is going to continue, correct?
Yeah.
Fourth point. Sorry. Do you have any question? Now, do you know how to draw a graph? So these points are maybe the trickiest points. Like, because on one of x-axis we are not going to move at all, and we will be staying on origin, and then on other axis we are going to move. Like this one, x is 0, we are not going to move, but y is 2. So we have to just move up 2 units and have or keep the same, x value equals 0. Okay, so what else now? Any question? Now, this example actually helps us to define 2 important things in graphing and in relation. One of them is y-intercept, the other one is x-intercept. Y-intercept is a point. X-intercept also is a point. Y-intercept happens whenever our line passes and kind of cut the y-axis. So this is a point, correct? At this point, our graph intersect or cut the y-axis. So this point is y-intercept, right? X-intercept is a point like this. Why? Because our graph cut the x-axis, and at this point they have intersection. So y-intercept has this kind of form. It's order pair, correct? Like this. This is y-intercept. X value is 0 always, because whenever a point is on y-axis, means the x value is always 0, right? And you will have a y value, let's say b, any constant. And in this question, our y value is 2, right? Then x-intercept has this form. Now for x-intercept, y is equal to 0, like this point, because any point on x-axis will have y equal 0, right? You choose this point here. What is the y for this point? 0, right? So that's why the y coordinate will be 0. X coordinate can be anything. X value can be anything. So in this question, our x-intercept is 2/3 and 0. A is 2/3. Here, y-intercept is 0 and 2. B is 2. So if I ask you to find y-intercept, what you will do?
The x-intercept will be 0.
The x value will be 0, and we should find a y value whenever x is equal 0, right? Because the format is like that, 0 and b, means x is 0. For x equals 0, you should find b, right? And then if I ask you to find x-intercept, you should say, okay, what is x when b is equal 0, when y is equal 0, right? Okay, so let's find y-intercept, x-intercept for this line. So if you forget the definition, just remember this part that y-intercept means graph is passing through y-axis. And imagine a point on y-axis and think like, okay, that point will have either of these coordinates equals 0, right? So you are imagining a point on y-axis and you should figure out which one of coordinate is 0. Like any point like this. And then if you imagine, you will see x is 0 for that. Okay, so what we have? 4x minus 3y equal negative 12. So let me write this down here. X-intercept is a and 0, 0. So if I want to find y-intercept, in this equation, put x equal 0 to find a value for y. Correct? So let's do that. 4 multiplied 0 minus 3 multiplied y equal negative 12. 4 multiplied 0 is 0, right? Negative 3y is equal to negative 12. Divide both sides by negative 3, right? Y is equal 4. And this is B for us. So the y-intercept is 0 and 4, right?
So would you always like put in 0 and put in
This
whatever-
format never changes. What this means x value is always 0 when you want to find y-intercept, correct? This says y value is always 0 when you want to find x-intercept.
unless they give you a number. No, it's just always 0.
I'm just talking about y-intercept, x-intercept. It will be just like this, and then your aim is to find B, your aim is to find A, correct? You will find B whenever x is 0, you will find A whenever y is 0, right? So now, to find x-intercept, what to do? Now, in this equation, put y equal 0 to find what? X. To find a value for x. So let's do this. We have 4x minus 3 multiplied 0 equal negative 12. So obviously this is 0. We have 4x equal negative 12. X is equal to, both sides divide by 4. We have negative 3. And this is A for us, correct? And our x-intercept is negative 3 and
0.
0.
So they'll never give you like a specific
you always choose x equals 0, you always choose y equals 0, depends on what kind of intercept you are finding, right? So now, the first method I was using to draw a graph was just choosing 2 random points, correct? At least 2 random points to be able to draw a graph, find 2 order pair, and pass a line through these 2 order pairs, correct? This is the second method to to draw a graph. It's exactly same as before, but sometimes they are asking you to draw a graph using x, y intercept. So you should find x-intercept, you should find y-intercept to be able to draw a graph. And this is the 2 points you need, correct? But in this case, the points are not random. They have a name. They are x-intercept, y-intercept, correct? So this is the second method to draw a graph. Whenever I ask you to draw a graph using y-intercept, x-intercept. Okay, so do you have any question? No? Okay, as you see, there is 1 point, -3 and 0, another point 0 and 4. So they could draw a graph using these 2 points. And then there is other point which is in middle of them. You can choose, or that's okay if you don't choose. Do you have any questions? So now we want to talk about horizontal line and a vertical line. Do you want another question to find x-intercept, y-intercept? You understood? Sure?
Is this 3.2?
I don't think it's still same.
3.1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah. Still the same. Oh. There are 2 important kind of line. Let's say this is xy plane. The other one is this. Okay. So let's say I have a point on x-axis. My point is like this one, okay? So approximately, let's say, x here is -1 because it's on this side of origin, okay? So let's say x is -1. So what is the y value for this point? 0, right? Do you see that? 0. I'm going to pass a line parallel to the y-axis. So this line is parallel to the y-axis. So this line will have a formula, just one fixed formula. For this kind of lines, when they are parallel to y-axis, we just have x value, correct? There's just one x value, and y is always 0, right? The formula will have just x, and this is the value that I showed here for that point, for example. So the line doesn't have y at all anymore, right? This is the equation for What is this line? It's a vertical line, okay? This is a fixed equation for a vertical line. So now my point was -1. So formula for this line is x equal -1. And you don't see any y there, correct? So as soon as you see x equals some number, you know that this is a vertical line and it's parallel to y-axis, correct? If a is negative number, the line is on this side of xy plane, correct? Because as you see, x is equal -1, right? That's why my line is this side. If a is equal to a positive number, any positive number, so line is on the other side of origin, like this one. This was definitely a positive number for x, right? That's why we have on other side. So what is the equation of x equals 0? What is the graph of x equals 0? X equals 0 means a is equal 0, right? So the graph will be parallel to y-axis, correct? So where is the graph?
Or
Exactly on
the line.
y-axis, correct? So if my graph is like this, oops, it's kind of crooked. So it should be exactly on y-axis. So the equation is x equal?
X equals 0.
Yeah, obviously. Choose any points here. The x is equal 0 for any points on y-axis, correct? That is the reason. Do you understand now? So,
X is equal to 0
because choose any point. Choose one point here. What is the x value for this point?
0.
Equals 0. Choose a point here. X is equal
because
0. So that's why line on top of this y-axis will have this equation because always x is 0 in there, right? Do you understand now?
Yes.
So x equal negative number, our line will be on that side. X equals 0, our line will be exactly on top of y-axis. X equal positive number, we will have line on this side. And all these lines are vertical line and parallel to y-axis. Correct? Do you get that? So now, this will be much easier because if you already understood that. Let's say we have a point here. Y is equal to, let's say 4 for this point. Let's say 3. Okay. What is x for this one? X is
0.
0, correct? So, I'm going to pass a line parallel to x-axis and line is parallel to the x-axis, and obviously this is a horizontal line, right? So that was vertical. So equation for horizontal line is always y equal something. And you don't see x there, correct? If the line is above x-axis, means this b is a positive number, right? So the equation for this line will be y equal 3, correct? And then now obviously you should know what is the graph of y equals 0?
X equals 0. Sorry.
What is the graph of y equals 0? You should know this.
Okay. be on the x-axis.
Exactly. Correct? So here we have y equal 0, right? Because here we said if it is on top of y-axis, we will have x equals 0. Here also, when it's on top of x-axis, we will say y equals 0, right? And then if we have any negative number in the line here, we will have y equal to any negative number. Correct?
Yes.
But in general, any horizontal line like this will have an equation of y equal b. B means any number, right? And then that one, vertical line, the equation for vertical line will be always x equal a. A can be any number, right? Do you have any question? So, let's,
So if y is a negative number, can x be a positive number?
if y is equal negative number, there will be a line parallel to x-axis, and it will be on this area, passing through the third and fourth quadrant. So now let's draw this graph. I want to draw x equal -2 So as soon as you see x equal a number, what kind of line is that?
It's gonna be vertical.
Vertical, okay? So you will write down, this is a vertical line, parallel to what?
The y-axis.
Y-axis, okay. Okay? So we have xy plane. And then what should I find? -2. On which axis?
On the y-axis. I mean,
It is x
x-axis.
equal
I
-2,
know.
correct?
Sorry.
So here, -1, -2. Right? Our point is here. And now we know. This is a vertical line.
So your line's equal.
So it should be a line passing through this. And it's vertical and parallel to y-axis, correct? This will be a line. And then as you see, I have arrows here because it will continue. Correct?
Yes.
So, what about y equal -5? What kind of line is this?
A horizontal line.
Yeah. Parallel to which axis? X-axis. What should I find now? -5 on which axis?
Y-axis.
Y-axis, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We found this, and now we know this is a horizontal line and parallel to x-axis. So our line will be like this. Okay? Do you have any question? So now, can you draw this line for me? Try your best, okay? I want to know if you can imagine this and you can easily find the order pairs, you know, find some order pairs. I want you to tell me what is this line? Draw it. Try to give some numbers, find the order pairs, and draw it on XY axis to see if you can figure out. Try, it's interesting.
Wait, you want like actual order pairs?
I want you to draw a graph. You are using order pairs, right? Maybe 2, 3 random order pairs to see if you can draw this graph using your order pairs. You searched it?
Me too, random.
You got it?
Oh,
I think I got one.
1 and 1. Oh, 1, 1, 2, and 2, and 3 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Or oh no.
Correct?
Is that wrong?
Because they'll be the same.
It's wrong.
Wow.
They'll be the same.
Cry.
Will be the same, correct?
Equal each other. It's the same.
They are equal, right?
Oh,
So let's see. X is here, Y is here. You said 1 and 1. Yeah, of course. For 1, Y is 1, right? And then what else?
2, 2, and 3.
Oh my god, my teacher in freshman year.
3.
Right? What about 0, 0? Let's say 0, 0. What about negative? Negative 5, negative 5. Right? So I have many points now. The
There's like that.
first of them is origin itself, right? Correct?
Yeah.
The next one is 1, 1. Correct? 2, 2. Correct? And 3, 3. Correct? Negative, let's say negative 5 is here because that's 3, so negative 5 and negative 5 here. So connect all of this. So this is the line. Line up x equal y. And what it does, it just cut this xy plane to 2 equal portion. Like this is exactly mirror image of that side. It's symmetric, right? Do you understand this now? So, if I was telling you to draw this one, now you do it. What happens?
X and Y is going to be 0.
No. If you can't there be any number because you have like x is 2 and
So what happens if x is 2? What happens to y?
it's 2
It's
it's
the
2
same thing.
because when you do
Same
2
thing,
minus 2 is
correct?
0.
Yeah.
So look what I did. I just had the same equation. I put y to that side. It's x minus y equals 0, right? It's still the same line, isn't that?
So wait a minute.
It's exact same. Just bring this y to the other side. It will be x equal y. And we already draw that graph.
Oh, because you add y to the other side. You should just do
Subtract y from each side. And that would be still the same line, right?
Yeah.
I just switched something, you know.
Put that on the exam.
See, something you already know. I just switched that. I just, brought y to other side. Now it will be confusing? Should not. Correct? So now draw this one for me. Think about this one. X equal negative y. Draw this graph for me, please. Draw it. Do you have any idea before even drawing that?
Divide x.
What is that?
It's the same line but on the opposite.
Exactly. Exactly. Correct.
What?
So now you draw it to understand what's happening. Correct.
Wait, what did he say?
You draw it, you will understand what is happening. Draw the graph, give some points, find 2, 3, 4 order pairs, and then you will see what happens. What happens? Continue.
Continue?
Yeah.
How many more points?
Until you know what is the difference between that one and this one. Did you see the difference? So what happens? Our line is?
Negative. It's a negative slope.
It will be
Negative.
like this.
Yeah.
Right?
I found that difference.
Yeah, so now x, y. So let's say here is y, this will be negative 1, correct? 2, negative 2, 3, negative 3, 0, 0 will be still same, right?
Input different.
Mm-hmm. So if I tell you draw this graph, please don't waste any time. You should tell me what is this. What is this?
X equals
Negative y. It's exact same, right? It's exact same graph. Okay. Do you have any question? Do you understand this? So now this kind of explains the kind of next step we are going through. We want to find the slope of graph. Either we will have a positive slope or we will have a negative slope. When our graph starts from this part, when I say this part, means bottom left, and it ends to top right, we will always have a positive slope. So your graph will be like this. From bottom left to top right. In this situation, we will have a line like this, and our slope will be positive. So imagine there is XY plane, okay? So this line what happens? It starts from the bottom left and it goes to the top right, right? Slope is positive. Let's say this one. It starts from bottom left and goes to top right, okay? And let's say this one. Same thing. It starts from this corner and it ends to top right, okay? All of this kind of graph or line will have a positive slope, right? We show a slope in your math book. We show that with m. When I say m is greater than 0, means slope is positive, correct? M is a slope. M greater than 0 means the slope is positive. Okay, so for any graph of or line of this form, we will have a positive slope. Then if we have a line like this, it starts from bottom right side and ends to the top left. So I will write that. We say a slope is negative. So something like this one. So look, it's a bottom right side goes to top left side, correct? Or something like this one, still the same, bottom right side goes to the top left, correct? So what else? Anything else? Like anywhere. I mean, it can be in first quadrant like this one. It can be anywhere in this XY plane. I mean, as long as it follows this format, it will have a positive slope. As long as following this format, will have a negative slope. Like something like, maybe something like this. Okay? So if I'm calling a slope, showing a slope with m, I should say m is less than 0. Now you should understand what's the meaning of less than, greater than. We already saw this, correct? So now this is the idea how a slope, can be defined. But we have a formula for a slope. Formula for a slope is
Y equals mx plus b.
no.
What?
No. That is a equation of line you are giving me. So m is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So to find the slope, we need two ordered pairs. One of the ordered pairs has x1, y1. The other ordered pair has
x2,
y2, right? So we have 2 points. One point is x1, y1. The other point is x2, y2. So now it should be easy for you to understand and imagine the way we are going to find the slope for a line. To find a slope for a line, we just need 2 points on that line, correct? We need to know what is the xy for the first point, what is the xy for the second point, and then we can replace them in this formula, find the slope, right? Okay, so Oops. Not this one. Okay. Y1. Okay, so what is the line? Okay, what was this? 4x minus 3y equal negative 12. We want to find slope for this line, okay? 4x minus 3y equals negative 12. I want to find the slope for the line. So what should I do at first? What I need?
Subtract 4x, the both sides of the equation.
Yeah, but what is the first thing I need to find the slope?
You find 2 points here.
Find what?
2 points.
2 points, okay? Find any random points. 2 of them for me. Let's say,
2, 1.
you know what? You choose your own points. I will choose my own points. I want to see if you understand what's going on and what will happen if I have different points and you have different points. Okay? So let's do this. I want to find something with x equal 1. I should find y for this one. And then I want to find x equal negative 5 and y something. So don't choose my values. Choose 2 order pairs for yourself and find y for that, and then try to find a slope. Find it. I want to see if you understand and recognize the difference. did you find?
Did I do this? Why did you do it wrong?
Yes.
My slope was -4 over 3.
4 what?
4 over 3.
4 over 3. Okay.
Wait a minute.
What points you were using?
The slope intercepts. The intercepts.
Oh, good. Okay. So,
Oh, you input it into the formula first. Not to the formula, but into this first. And
so what I told you, I said find points, correct? 2 points. So now you should know how to find 2 points using equation, correct? You will give x, you will find y for that x, right? And then you will give another x, you will find another y for that x, right? And then you will have 2 points like this. The first point I had, I called that x1, y1. The second point I had, I called that x2, y2, right? Slope had this equation, m equal y2, so I replaced -8 over 3, correct? y1, I replaced 16 over 3, correct? x1, this one, x2, this one. Then I solve this, find the slope. Any 2 points should give you the same slope. So slope of a line never changes. It will be exact same. How many of you found the same slope? Okay. Good. So for any different points on a line, you should get the same slope. So now, look at the graph. So our slope is positive, right? 4 over 3. So this graph also shows a positive slope, right? Let's use the points they were, finding to see what the slope we get. I mean, now you should know we get the same slope, correct? My points were more difficult because it was fraction. Look, the y I found was fraction, it was more difficult. But y-x-intercept, which are these 2 numbers, these 2 order pairs, are much easier. So let's say 1 point is -3 and 0. The other point on this line is 0 and 4, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to call this x1, y1, this one is x2, y2, correct? Slope is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. y2 is 4 minus 0 divided by 0 is x2 minus x1 is -3, correct? 4 divided by +3, the same slope as I found. Correct? So this proves to you, any points you get from the graph, you will have the same slope. Because the graph is always the same, correct? The slope is always fixed. You are just choosing different points to find a slope, correct? There is one more thing here I want to mention. Let's say, you can try it later. What time is it now?
45.
45?
Yeah.
This is the last one. Let's see. Point 1, point 2 I chose, correct? If I said this one is point 2, this one is x2, y2, and then I chose this one as x1, y1, what would happen to a slope? If I just said this is my point 2, this is my point 1.
It's going to be 3 over 4.
You think so? It will never ever change. Change the points as long as you are saying, okay, this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2, and replace the same numbers in this formula, you will have exact same slope. So switching points also will not change the slope ever. Correct? It will be always the same. Do you have any question? No? Okay, so next time we'll continue chapter 3. We'll see you on Wednesday. So what are these points? How you found them? So you chose x random. For this x, you should find the y coming from that formula, that equation. Sorry, where's the equation? So you will replace 5 here for x, and then solve it for y. You will replace 6 here, and you will find y. So the x are a random number, but y will